new chapter, that is Wonders of Light Part 1. Friends, this world is beautiful, and indeed it is, full of objects and colors. Have you ever thought why this world is beautiful and how do we see different objects and colors? I will tell you. The reason is just because we can see them. This world is beautiful. How do we see them? When the light falls on those objects, they reflect back and comes into our eye and we are able to see their images. And that is why we see this world and full of objects and colors. Correct? Now, do all the surfaces reflect lights in the same manner, in the same amount as one another? The answer is no. A good polished surface may reflect light well, but maybe the dark ones may not reflect light well. How do we justify that? Suppose we are standing in a very dark room. Okay, there is no light, not even a single light in that room, and you are asked to see different objects. Will you be able to see those objects? You would appreciate the answer is no. Why? Because there is no light, so no reflection from objects which can come into your eye and you can have the image of those objects. Correct? So it means light is a factor which helps us to see different objects. Correct? Now I have just mentioned about the different polished surface, or do all the surfaces reflect light in the same manner? The answer was no. Obviously, a well polished surface will reflect light well in comparison to a dark surface. Correct? Now let us talk about reflecting surfaces, and when we talk about reflecting surfaces, we talk about mirrors. A mirror can be of two types, basically of two types. The first one is plane mirror and the second one is spherical mirror. A spherical mirror can be concave mirror also and a convex mirror also. We will understand that. I have written over here, you can see that mirrors can be classified as plane mirror or spherical mirrors. Spherical mirrors can be further classified as concave mirror or convex mirror. Now let us understand how they differ from each other. You have seen plane mirror in your homes, if you go to a gallery, everywhere you can see plane mirrors. When you come out from your bathroom after having a bath, you comb your hair in front of the plane mirror. What do you observe? I have written some properties and you would appreciate that is what you observe. That is, the first property is height of image is equal to height of object. If you stand in front of the mirror and if you touch your forehead with the mirror, you will find that the height of the image is equal to height of the object. The height of your image will be equal to what your height is. Correct? So the very first point is height of image is equal to height of object is the first feature or property of a plane mirror. Now the second property which I have written is distance of image is equal to distance of object. Now suppose the mirror is say 15 centimeter or say 30 centimeter away from me. You will find your image will also be 30 centimeter, exactly 30 centimeter away from that mirror. Correct? It means the horizontal distance. The first property was vertical distance, vertical height. The second property is the horizontal distance from the mirror of the object and of the image will be equal. And the third property, which is very interesting, you might have noticed, if you watch television, if you watch a bowler in cricket or batsman in cricket, you will find that in television, if you see that batsman, he is a right-hand batsman, but if you see the image of the same television in plane mirror, you will find it has become left-hander, or a right-handed bowler has become left-handed bowler. Correct? That property is called image becomes laterally inwards. Left becomes right, right becomes left. Correct? Now, how do we understand what is plane mirror and what is a spherical mirror? Suppose if I say my hand is the front part of a mirror and this one is the back part of the mirror. Correct? This is the front part of the mirror from where you can see the image, and this is the back part of the mirror. Correct? Now, if you see in this way, this is a plane mirror. Correct? If I bend this mirror in this way, this becomes a concave mirror, which I have drawn over here. If you see, if I bring my hand like this, this becomes a concave mirror. And the shaded part at behind is this back part. So if you have this as plane mirror and if you bend it towards left hand side for you, for right hand side for you and left hand side for me, then you will find that it fits like the same what I have drawn on the board. So this mirror is concave mirror. If I bend it on the other direction like this, then this becomes a convex mirror. If you see this, this is the back part and this is the front part. So if I bring it over here, it suits what I have drawn on the board. Okay, you see this shaded part, this is the back part of the mirror and the other one is the front part of the mirror. So you can use your hand to understand what type of mirror it is. This one is a plane mirror, this one is a concave mirror and this one is a convex mirror. Correct. Now when we talk about light, we do talk about reflection, and when we talk about reflection, we do talk about laws of reflection. Let us understand what are the different laws of reflection. I have written over here and drawn image also. If you can see, this is the incident light falling on a surface. This surface may be a well reflecting surface, maybe a poor reflecting surface. It can be either one. AB is the incident ray, and after reflection BC is the emergent ray, correct, or reflected ray. AB is the incident ray, BC is the reflected ray. The point where it hits the surface, I have drawn a perpendicular which is BD, correct. So BD is a normal at the point where this incident ray hits the reflecting surface, and BC is the reflected ray. Now the first law of reflection is the angle of incidence. What is angle of incidence? The angle between the incident ray and the normal to the surface. Normal means perpendicular. Now this incident ray and the perpendicular drawn at the point where the incident ray hit the surface, the angle between that is called angle of incidence. And in the same way, the emergent ray or the reflected ray makes an angle with this perpendicular or normal BD drawn to this reflecting surface, that is called as angle of reflection. Now laws of reflection, the very first law of reflection says this angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection, and it is valid for all type of surfaces, whether it is a plane surface, whether it is a spherical surface, all type of surfaces this law is applicable. That is, angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Angle I is equal to angle R. I have used I for angle of incidence and R for angle of reflection. So angle I is equal to angle R. This is the first law. The second law says that this incident ray AB, this emergent ray or the reflected ray BC, and this perpendicular or the normal to the surface BD will lie in the same plane. It means if this is the incident ray, this is the reflected ray, and this is the normal, the middle one is normal, they all will lie in a same plane. That is the second law of reflection. So these are two different laws of reflection. The first one is angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection, and the other one is the incident ray, the emergent ray and the normal will lie in the same plane. Now we will try and understand what are the different cases of spherical mirror. We will start with concave mirror and understand how in a quick session of time we can solve all different cases about where the object is placed in front of concave mirror. Now suppose if you open your textbook, you will find a table where different positions of objects in front of a concave mirror are given, and what are the type of images, how the image is formed, where it is formed, it has been given in tabular form. We will try and understand different cases. Suppose this is our concave mirror, this shaded part is the back part of the concave mirror, correct? Now let us understand what are the different terms associated with this curve. Now if I say in any house, if you see your sisters or mother's bangles sometimes fall on the floor and they form different pieces of arcs of the similar arc of what I have drawn as concave mirror on this board, correct? The moment you see that piece of bangle, the figure which hits in your mind is it might be a ring or a bangle, a complete ring, and that is the arc of that bangle, correct? So if it means there is an arc, there should be an imaginary circle, correct? If there is an imaginary circle, there should be a center point also. If there is a center point, then there should be a radius also. Now this is called as center of curvature. Why center of curvature and why not circle? Because we do not have a full circle, but since we have a form of an arc, which means there should be a circle, so we tell this point or describe this point as center of curvature. Now if you draw a horizontal line from the center of curvature towards this concave mirror, the point at which it intersects the mirror is called as pole of the mirror, represented by symbol P. This line is called as axis. Okay. Now in between center of curvature and pole, there lies a point called focus, and the distance of focus point from pole is termed as focal length. FP is focal length. FP is focal length, and CP should be your radius, say R. Let us say focal length as small f. Okay. Now for small apertures, which means this aperture should be small, for small apertures of spherical mirrors, this f is equal to R by 2, where f is what? Focus. The capital F is focus point, small f is the distance of focus point from the pole, where pole is obtained when a horizontal line from center of curvature is drawn towards the concave mirror, and the point at which it intersects the mirror is called your pole. Now this distance CP is radius and this distance is focal length. Now for small aperture, this focal length is equal to half of the radius of this particular arc. Okay. Now focus point is a point where all the rays are supposed to be reflected back and meet from this mirror. Now suppose I extend this line, and at the point where pole has been mentioned, I make it as origin by drawing this vertical line. So this becomes your y-axis as positive y and negative y. You can see I have written here, this is negative y, this is positive y. So I hope you have seen the Cartesian system where you have x-axis and y-axis. So this becomes your positive x-axis, and this becomes your negative x-axis, correct? So pole is now your origin, this is your positive y-axis, or this is your y-axis, this part is positive y-axis, this part is negative y-axis, this part is negative x-axis, and this part is positive x-axis, correct? So it means focus and center of curvature are lying on negative x-axis. So if you talk about horizontal distances, then this length should be negative, correct? This focal length should be negative, and this length, the radius, should also be negative. Now the question is, how do we understand that tabular form of different positions of objects placed in front of a concave mirror, and where the type of image formed has been described, and where it has been formed is also mentioned there, the results. Now for that, let us understand what are the different places where objects can be placed. The very first distance is, the very first position where object can be placed is, say, at a very far distance, say that is infinity. If you talk about very far distance, then the distance is infinity, correct? Now while moving towards this mirror, the other position you can encounter is a position just beyond center of curvature. That is your second case where object has been placed in that tabular form if you see your textbook. The third place which you can say is at center of curvature. Correct. The fourth place you can say is between C and F, center of curvature and focus point. The fourth place. Correct. The fifth place can be at the focus point, and the sixth place can be between focus point and pole. So you would appreciate that are the different cases of objects placed in front of the mirror mentioned in that tabular form, which you can easily remember. At a very far distance, that is infinity. Just beyond C, if you see that tabular form, it is written beyond C or beyond center of curvature. Just beyond center of curvature. At center of curvature, that is your third case. Between center of curvature and focus point, if you see that tabular form, it might be written between C and F. That is this point. That is your fourth case. Fifth case can be the object placed at the focus point itself. Sixth case, it can be the object placed between focus point and pole. Now don't think the object should be placed at pole. That cannot be a case. So you have finally 6 cases of objects placed in front of concave mirror. Now friends, you can have questions based on theory also, questions based on numericals also in your examination, your local examination also, in your board examination also. Now let us understand, when in a question data has not been given and still nature of image has been asked, or the position of the image where it should be formed has been asked for this particular type of spherical mirror, that is concave mirror, and different cases of position of objects are given. Then how do we solve this question, and how we can learn that tabular form in a very quick session of time for theoretical questions, not for numerical questions where data has been given. For theoretical questions, you can assume a data which I will just describe. Suppose I take the very first case where the object is placed at infinity. The object is placed at infinity. Now, while solving different cases of spherical mirrors, be concave, be convex, we have 2 formulas that we have to use. The first one is mirror formula, and the second formula is magnification formula. I will write it here so that we can see it every time when we solve different cases. Mirror formula is one by V plus 1 by U is equal to 1 by F. I will explain what is V and U. I have just explained what is F. F is the focal length, that is the distance of focus point from the pole. I will explain V and U also. This is the first formula, that is mirror formula. Also, you have a second formula, that is magnification formula. I will write here. Magnification formula. That is H2 by H1 is equal to minus V by U. We have 2 formulas, that is the first formula is mirror formula, that is 1 by V plus 1 by U is equal to 1 by F, and magnification formula, that is H2 upon H1 is equal to minus V by U. Now let us understand what are these symbols V, U, H2 and H1. I have just explained what is small f, that is the focal length, distance of focus point from the pole. Now I will erase this part. You can see this FP is your focal length, CP is your radius. I hope that is very clear. And I will write F is equal to R by 2 over here. F is equal to R by 2. Now, suppose this is a concave mirror. Okay, I am the object. Now, suppose I'll take a very huge concave mirror, this one. Okay, it is bent in this pattern. I am standing in front of the concave mirror. Now, my horizontal distance from this mirror is small u. My horizontal distance from this mirror is small u, which means if this is the origin or pole and this is the object, then this distance is called as u. Correct? This distance will be called as u. Wherever my image form, suppose this was the mirror, I am the object, suppose my image is formed over here, or suppose here, it can be formed anywhere. So horizontal distance of image from the mirror will be termed as small v. So v is what? Horizontal distance of image from the mirror, which we will see how it comes out. If I talk about h2 and h1, then h1 is the height of the object, that is the vertical distance, which can be calculated over y-axis. If you see this should be h1, that is height of the object. Now image can be diminished also, image can be magnified also, it can be same also. So height of image will be h2, height of object will be h1, which I have written here in magnification formula. So just in case if you forgot, I will write here v is distance of image from P, u is distance of object from P, h1 is height of object, h2 is height of image. I have written over here just in case we forgot. V, small v is distance of image from pole, I have just explained you. U, small u is distance of object from pole, h1 is height of the object, and h2 is height of the image. Now let us solve the very first case of that tabular form, which you can see in your textbook, about the different cases of positions of object kept in front of concave mirror. The first case is, I have explained the different cases also which are possible, which are feasible, and that is what mentioned in that tabular form. The first case is the object placed at infinity. Now I hope you can see this Cartesian system. This is y-axis, this is x-axis. Now whatever length falls here will be negative, whatever length falls on the right hand side will be positive, whatever height falls on the positive in this direction will be positive, whatever height falls in this direction will be negative. Correct? I am using the word distance for x-axis, I am using the word height for y-axis. Now if you see, object is placed at infinity and it is lying on negative x-axis, correct? It means u should be minus infinity. So the very first case is u is equal to minus infinity, correct? We don't know, we have to determine the position at which image is formed, so we don't know. Now for all the theoretical questions I have explained, there can be two type of questions where in one type data can be given and you have to use that particular data in these two formula to calculate whatever has been asked. The other question can be based on where data has not been given, but still the question asks you the type of image, nature of image, position of image, and so things. So we are solving that type of question. My suggestion is, every time you take, for theoretical questions, every time you take r as 10 centimeters, so automatically your f will become minus 5 centimeter. Why? Because f is equal to half of radius. F is equal to, I have written over here, you can see this, f is equal to half of radius. So every time when you solve theoretical questions, when nature of image, size of image, position of image has been asked but data has not been given, you take r as equal to 10 centimeter, automatically f is equal to 5 centimeter. But since both C and f lies on the negative x-axis in case of concave mirror, this should be minus 10 and automatically this will become minus 5 centimeter. I hope you appreciate that you can see this length is lying on negative x-axis, so this should be negative, and C is also lying on negative x-axis, so R should also be negative, so automatically focal length will be negative and half of radius. Okay, so let us try and solve the very first case object placed at infinity, u is equal to minus infinity. In that case, f is equal to minus 5 centimeter. I have mentioned over here also. Correct. Now, if I use the mirror formula, then I can write 1 by v plus 1 by u is equal to 1 by f. Correct. Now, if I substitute these values over here, what I get is 1 by v minus 1 by infinity. Okay, if you want to substitute the value directly, sometimes students find that calculation is also difficult. If I substitute the values as it is, it will become 1 by minus infinity is equal to 1 by minus 5. Correct. Now I can rewrite this equation as 1 by v minus 1 by infinity, that minus will go up, is equal to minus 1 by 5. Now friends, do remember, any number upon infinity is equal to 0. Any number upon 0 is infinity. Any number upon 0, suppose if you take 1 also, 1 upon 0 is infinity. It means 1 by infinity should be 0. So here in this equation also 1 by infinity is there, it should be 0. Now any number minus 0 is the number itself. So 1 by v minus 0 should be 1 by v itself. Correct? So 1 by v here it is equal to 1 by v is equal to minus 1 by 5 itself, because any number minus 0, 1 by infinity is 0, so any number minus 0 is the number itself, that is 1 by v. So on the right hand side it is minus 1 by 5. If we invert this, we get it as v is equal to minus 5 centimeters. That is the result. It tells us that v is placed somewhere at 5 centimeter from concave mirror, and since it is coming out to be negative value, it should be on negative x-axis. Correct? So if the object is placed at infinity and if I want to locate 5 centimeter on negative x-axis, because the value of v is minus 5 centimeter, where can I locate it? If you see this focal length is minus 5 centimeter, it means this point is 5 centimeter away from pole and also on negative x-axis. It means the image is forming on the focus itself. Image is forming at the focus point itself. Now if you see that tabular form once again, you would appreciate that for the very first case, when the object is placed at infinity, the very first result where the image has been formed, it will be written at the focus point. Correct? It means we have found the position where the image has been formed. Now friends, let me tell you one thing. How to determine whether this image is real or virtual? Do remember, if the image is formed, since I have taken the mirror this way, if the image is formed in front of the mirror, then the image is real. If the image is formed behind the mirror, suppose I am the image. If the image is formed in front of the mirror, this is the front part of the mirror. If the image is formed in front of the mirror, the image is real. If the image is formed, I am the image is formed behind the mirror of this concave mirror, then the image is virtual. Now we can see that image is being formed in front of the mirror. It means image is real. So we have found two results using this mirror formula. 1 by v plus 1 by u is equal to 1 by f. That is, what is the position at which image is formed, that is at focus point in this particular case, and whether the image is real or virtual. The image is real in this particular case. Why? Because the image is being formed in front of the mirror. Do remember, in front of the mirror, image is real.
No more spending your energy and money on coaching classes, or missing classes for rain, for rally, and any other nonsense. Subjects covered by multiple teachers with repeat telecasts. Doubts, concepts, applications, no problem. All explained through great and significant animation. So sit back comfortably in your home and watch Study Spectrum TV channel.
So finally we have got two results using mirror formula, very single formula, mirror formula, that is 1 by V plus 1 by U is equal to 1 by F. Image formed at focus point, we have located where the image is being formed, and since like I have described, if the image is formed in front of the mirror, then the image is real. If it will be formed behind the mirror, if this value had been positive, we would have located this point on the positive x-axis, correct? And in that case, it would have a virtual image. But since the value is negative and it comes out in front of the mirror, so the image is real. So, with the help of a single formula, we have calculated two results, which you can see in that tabular form also, correct? Now, let us calculate the other two results using magnification formula. Okay. Now, let me erase this part so that I can just create a bit of space. I have already explained you what is V, what is U, what is H2 and what is H1. V is distance of image from the pole, like here you can see it is coming out to -5 cm. U is the distance of object from the pole. H2 is height of the image, and H1 is height of the object. Now, if I use magnification formula, then it is H2 by H1 is equal to minus V by U. What I will do is, I will substitute the exact values of V and U in that particular equation. So it becomes minus of -5 divided by -infinity. Correct? If I solve this, one of the minus gets cancelled. Any number upon infinity is 0. I have explained here, if you can see this, if you recall, any number upon 0 is infinity, so any number upon infinity is 0. So this becomes H2 is equal to minus of 0, H2 by H1 is equal to minus of 0, or we can write it as H2 is equal to 0 times H1. 0 times H1. Okay. Now let us understand the rest of the two results, how it comes out from this equation. Friends, before that, let me explain you something. Suppose I have 100 rupees, and if I say you have 1.1 times what money I have, then what will be the amount you will be having? That is 1.1 into 100, that is 110 rupees. If I say, if I have 100 rupees and you are having 0.9 times money what I am having, then how much amount of money you will have? You will have 0.9 into 100, that is 90 rupees. Now if I say you have 1 times what money I have, 1 times, or in other words, you have the same amount of money. So what you will do is 1 into 100 is 100. So if I have 100 rupees and if you are having 1 times what I am having the money, then you will be also having 100 rupees. Correct? Now you would appreciate that is the multiplying factor which tells us that the result will be bigger than the earlier one, or smaller than the earlier one, or equal to this earlier one. Now the first case was 1.1 times what money I have. See, the multiplying factor is greater than 1.1. So the result was greater than my money, that is 100 rupees. Your money was 110. So the output will be more than the input, since the multiplying factor is greater than 1. Correct? If the multiplying factor is less than 1, then the output will be less than input. That is why you were having the result of 90 rupees. Correct? Because the multiplying factor was less than 1. But if the multiplying factor is 1 itself, if it is 1 itself, then what happens is output is equal to input. Why? Input into 1 will be output, so it means output is equal to input. So multiplying factor is a very important aspect, very important thing. Over here, not in this case because it is 0, so if you multiply anything with 0, it will be 0 itself. Not in this case, but we'll see in the different cases. I will recall you when I will explain those cases. Now if you see this case, H2 is height of image, H1 is height of object. Correct? If suppose the value of H1 is say 10 cm, height of object is suppose 10 cm. That is vertical height. Correct? Now 10 into 0 will be 0. It means there is no height of image. Now no height of image means what? It is a point type of image, point size image. It means image being formed at focus point, it's okay, but this image is a highly diminished or point size type of image. Why? Because it does not have any vertical height, doesn't matter on positive or negative, it does not have any vertical height on positive y-axis or negative y-axis, it is just a point. So the result will be the image is highly diminished or point size type of image, correct? Now there is no sense if I say minus 0, but since it was coming out to a minus, I can say the result, the image is inverted. How? Let us understand. Not valid in this case, let me tell you, not valid in this case, but I will explain you what is the fourth result. We are supposed to calculate 4 type of results. 2 results already we have calculated, that is the image, position of image and whether the image is real or virtual. The third result also we have calculated, that is height of image, that is coming out to be a point size image or highly diminished. The fourth result is whether the image is real, erect or virtual. What is erect and what is virtual? See, suppose this is origin, this is object, and height of the object is on positive y-axis, or the object is erect, it is standing above the surface, correct? If the image also comes out like this, standing above this particular plane, or the height of the image comes out on positive y-axis, then we say the image is also erect. The image is also erect. But suppose if it comes out inverted, I mean if it comes out on negative y-axis, if image comes out like this or its value comes out to be negative, it means its value is coming from negative y-axis and the image is inverted. Erect image means the height should come positive of image. Inverted means the height should come negative of image. We will see in the other case. So we have calculated 4 results. The first result is position of image. The image is real. Image is highly diminished because it is coming out to be 0 or point size type of image. And since one negative sign was left here, so we can say it is inverted. Okay, like I said, if the value of height of image comes out to negative, it should be inverted image. If it comes out to be positive, it should be erect image.